Looking for Lunar Ice, from Far Out Guide to the Moon by Mary K. Carson. Lunar rocks lost their water long ago. So the moon is a totally dry world, right? Not necessarily. Remember that the moon is covered in impact craters, or craters made when comets, asteroids, and meteoroids came in contact with the moon. Many of those impacting comets, asteroids, and meteoroids delivered some water ice to the moon. The ice carried by space rocks scattered across the lunar surface upon impact. Sunlight quickly evaporated most of the ice, but scientists suspect that some of the water ice still survives on the moon. The only way water can be preserved on the moon is in extremely cold areas, explains lunar scientist Alan Binder. The coldest places on the moon are where the sun never shines. Some of the moon's deep craters cast permanent shadows. The moon's north and south poles have some always dark craters. How much ice survives in these cold trapped craters? Scientists are working to find out. Finding a lot of ice on the moon would be a big deal. If humans are going to build a moon base someday, they will need water. Not having to bring water from Earth would be a big help. Searching the shadows. 2 decades passed without a single lunar visitor after the last astronaut walked on the moon in 1972. Another spacecraft finally headed to our orbiting neighbor in 1994. No humans were aboard Clementine when it launched. It was a robotics space probe. Clementine mapped the moon's surface. It found permanently dark craters near the moon's poles. Clementine's radar also found hints of ice in those craters, but when radar telescopes on Earth looked, they could not find the lunar ice. So was it really there? Lunar Prospector, another space probe, went to find out in 1998. The small space probe scanned the moon's surface. 7 weeks after orbiting, Lunar Prospector scientists made a big announcement. We have found water at both lunar poles, Alan Binder told reporters in March of 1998. He was in charge of the Lunar Prospector mission. Water ice crystals seemed to be mixed in with the dusty lunar soil. Lunar Prospector scientists said that a small lake's worth of water lay scattered as frost near the moon's poles. How could scientists be sure this time? They sacrificed their spacecraft to find out. In July of 1999, engineers sent Lunar Prospector crashing into a dark crater at the moon's south pole. Scientists figured that the crashed dust cloud would have some water vapor in it, but no water showed up. The mystery of water of the moon would take another 10 years to solve. More than expected. When the robotic explorer Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter flew to the moon in 2009, another spacecraft piggybacked on it. The Lunar Crater Observation and Sensing Satellite, LCROSS, aimed to finally answer whether or not there is ice on the moon. Soon after the launch, L-Cross separated from its ride and headed for the crater Cabeus near the moon's south pole. First, L-Cross sent its booster rocket crashing into the crater. The spacecraft quickly radioed back what it saw in the debris cloud. Only minutes later, LaCrosse slammed itself into the crater, too, as astronomers on Earth searched the kicked-up cloud of water, and found it. Yes, we found water. L-Cross scientist Anthony Colaprete told reporters during the big announcement in late 2009. And we didn't just find a little bit. They found enough water to fill a dozen 2-gallon buckets. There's likely a lot of ice on the moon. While L-Cross solved the moon's mystery, it created another one. Scientists have been able to identify some of the materials kicked up in the debris cloud, yet haven't been able to. Scientists hope to find out what else might be hiding in them. Number 1. The scientists chose to crash the L-Cross into the crater Cabeus because the crater is always dark and cold. Which 2 details from the first 2 paragraphs of the article shows how the scientists knew this? A. Remember that the moon is covered in impact craters. B. Many of those impacting comets, asteroids, and meteoroids delivered some water to the water ice to the moon. C. The ice carried by space rocks scattered across the lunar surface upon impact. Sunlight quickly evaporated most of the ice. D. But scientists suspect that some of the water ice still survives out on the moon. E. The coldest place in the moon are where the sun never shines. Some of the moon's deep craters cast permanent shadows. Number 2. Read the paragraphs. The only way water can be preserved on the moon is in extreme cold areas, explains lunar scientist Alan Binder. The coldest places on the moon are where the sun never shines. Some of the moon's deepest craters cast permanent shadows. The moon's north and south poles have some always dark craters. How much ice survives in these cold trap craters? Scientists are working to find out. Finding a lot of ice on the moon would be a big deal. If humans are going to build a moon base someday, they will need water. Not having to bring water from Earth would be a big help. Yes, we found water, L-Cross scientist Anthony Colaprete told reporters during the big announcement in late 2009. And we didn't just find a little bit. They'd found enough water to fill a dozen 2-gallon buckets. There's likely a lot of ice on the moon. How is the second paragraph related to the first paragraph? A. The second paragraph explains the effect of an event that happens in the first paragraph. B. The first paragraph introduces the question that is answered in the second paragraph. C. The second paragraph provides further details to summarize an event in the first paragraph. D. Both paragraphs provide contrasting information on the same topic. Number 3. Which sentence best states the main idea of this passage? A. There is lots of water trapped in the craters of the moon. B. Scientists believe there was water on the moon, but failed several times to find it. C. The L-Cross mission was the first to discover water on the moon. D. Water is stored in the moon's dust. Number 4. Which two details from the passage best support your answer in question 3? A. But scientists suspect that some of the water ice still survives on the moon. B. 2 decades passed without a single lunar visitor after the last astronaut walked on the moon in 1972. C. Lunar Prospector, another space probe, went to find out in 1998. D. Scientists figured out that the crashed dust cloud would have some water vapor in it, but no water showed up. E. The Lunar Crater Observation and Sensing Satellite, L-Cross, aimed to finally answer whether or not there was ice on the moon. Number 5. What was the name of the spacecraft that mapped the moon's surface? A. Lunar Prospector. B. Lunar Crater Observation and Sensing Satellite, L-Cross. D. Columbia. C. Columbia. D. Clementine.